Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Welcome our first two as you come on in.
Yes. Yes.
Quick
Welcome.
ones. We
Thank you
like
for
it.
coming.
Welcome. I'm Nick Parrow. This is my good friend, Lisa Joy, and we are here to discuss the Nazis. And specifically today, we're going to be discussing KKKaroline Leavitt. Um, because she said some pretty hateful stuff very, very recently after the shooting that happened at the Catholic church and school. Um, and she is using it as an opportunity to spread bigotry and hate. And we're going to confront that because fuck that. Sorry, I don't mean to
Please
swear.
get me.
Kitty's coming after you.
Yeah, I've got to grab
Um,
my laptop and protect it before she gets it again.
um, and we got to talk about this. Hey everyone, welcome. I'm going to pull up my chat too, as it
Yeah,
finally
I'm
comes up on my side. There it is.
just looking for you here.
Um, it's good to see everyone. Welcome, thank you. But one of the big, like, Lisa, jump in here in a
Okay.
second because I want you to introduce the like topic that we were going
Okay. Oh,
on.
she finished her
Um,
laptop. She's bad.
or how we got to it because you sent me a post
Yeah.
and an article that I'd love to let you introduce a little and how we
Okay.
got to Caroline and her KKK leviting.
Yes. Carolyn Leavitt, after the shooting, shared a thing on, I guess, Instagram, from what I read. And pretty much it blamed demonic forces for the Minneapolis shooting. And the full post read, "There is a demonic force moving when a transgender maniac sprays bullets at pews of Catholic school children. Shame on the progressive leaders and lawmakers who make this about the man in the White House, the Second Amendment, or so-called trans bigotry." Now, hang on, I got to scan down here. "This is a
And
corruption of minds to commit horrific acts of violence. We pray for the victims, their families, and the entire Annunciation community during this grueling time. And yes, prayers do count and do work." And that's why they were all shot while they were praying, because prayer is so incredibly powerful.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
because
Thanksgiving
thoughts
for
and
prayer,
prayers work.
thoughts and prayers work. Just ask
And
these people.
yeah, thought.
You're just on time, Sonny. You're great.
Yeah, you're just on time, Sonny. Welcome. We just got started. I start the shows five after a lot of times. Give people time to go from other shows and let people run over. And when we have guests, it makes it a little easier. So welcome everyone. Yeah, Caroline Leavitt has said some really shitty stuff recently and for a long time, but she's said some really shitty stuff, especially after the shooting. Um,
What is really alarming to me about this is that a lot of these people, when you call somebody demonic, you're insinuating that they're dangerous to a point where eliminating them is more than forgivable. I mean,
yeah,
that's what alarmed me from this words. I'm like, wait a second, she's sort of insinuating anyone who's trans should be shot,
yeah.
and that's just very, very
N
frightening.
Not even forgivable, but that it's actually your religious duty to do it. Like it's
Right.
your duty to eradicate trans people. Like that's what they're priming folks for is to create a sense of duty or like faith obligation to commit horrendous acts. Like it's it's gross what they're doing. It's also a perversion of everything that um
It,
like everything that we, at least I was taught Christianity was, but I
right.
also know that that's not what a lot of people were taught Christianity was, and it's uses a perversion of faith to do it.
Mhm.
Um, the the big problem is Caroline Leavitt would be an issue on her own,
Right.
but she's the press secretary. And what she says has the weight of the US government behind it, or
Right.
it's supposed to.
Pretty much
And
says
it,
this is the president's belief.
yeah, this is saying she is. espousing what the president says she can say. And
Hmm.
that means, and he keeps letting her say it. So it means he's doing what he wants, and she's saying what he wants, or he's okay with what she's saying because she's not getting fired. Um, and so we have to assume then that the government from the executive branch at least believes that trans people are an enemy and demonic and are a religious threat to their supposed theocracy.
Right.
And that's really dangerous when someone then who I want to be very careful with how I say this because you and I talked about it a little bit right after, and
Right.
I have no verification, but it's also a very, very questionable case and story that is going on with the individual who killed those kids. Um, and it does not appear in any way, even if we believe that, let's say we believe the full story that's coming out with no question, the way that it is presented, even with the information of even and especially with the information available. See, this is why citizen reporting is fun, is we get cat butt coffee for when we're talking about cat butt Caroline.
And she just bit me for moving the laptop.
Ugh, what a jerk. Sounds like Caroline Leavitt it's like, because Caroline Leavitt sort of reminds me of like what I imagine a necromancer might look like.
Oh, okay.
And uh, so does Stephen Miller. Like they're sort of like these two human necromancers that are just keeping Trump as a meat puppet alive.
That
Um,
could be.
and like only through their force of like bigotry are they keeping him alive because he looked pretty shitty today. Um, but anyway, we digress as Caroline the cat anus or catbutt Caroline. Um, s- um, but like the problem is like they hold the words she says hold the power of the government like
Hmm.
behind her, and she's espousing that the person who did this, the way that she words it and the way that it's being spoken about is the person who committed the shooting did it because they were trans.
Hmm.
And that was the reasoning. There
Yeah.
is no evidence to say that being trans in this case either was the reason for the shooting.
No.
Like
Um,
nothing to do with it.
Another thing that is really alarming about this is, you know how the pro MAGA reporters will feed things in.
Hmm.
On Tuesday's briefing, Daily Wire reporter Mary Margaret Olahan asked if the administration was mulling the possibility of tweaking its domestic terror designations in light of the shooting. Here's the quote. I've seen a lot of calls for action, among these lawmakers saying that we should be praying, Olahan said. One that I've seen on the right actually is calls for the FBI to institute a new class of domestic terrorism that involves trans ideology. Is that something the administration might support?
Yeah, that's,
So now if you're trans, you're a terrorist.
yeah. We knew this was coming. Like we 100% knew that this was going to happen. Like they're going to label trans folks, they're going to label LGBTQ folks as terrorists. It's
Mhm.
part of the othering campaign. It's how you get
Right.
people to wear masks and then go shoot their neighbors. Like it's sick, it's disgusting, and it's rhetoric to dehumanize as much as possible because if somebody's a demon and your faith depends on you exterminating that demon, well, then you're more willing to go kill a bunch of trans people or shoot your neighbors or find a gay bar and shoot it up
Mhm.
and do things like that. But they don't ever want to talk about the white people who are shooting these guns. They don't ever want to talk about the similarity that's between every, almost every single one of these shooters, they almost all have one similarity, and it's whiteness.
Mm-hmm.
They don't ever talk about that. We always talk
There
about
have been
everything
very few
else.
black shooters. There've been a couple,
There've
but
been a couple.
yeah, remember in Washington D.C. those two were black. Um,
Yeah, but it's all like
but it's
we.
like
It's
for if you
yeah,
look, 99% are white heterosexual males,
yeah.
and you got
Four shootings have been done by folks who are transgender.
yeah.
It's also very conveniently timed
Mhm.
that this shooting happened, and then everybody started questioning it, and then Donald Trump disappeared for 5 days, so nobody talked about it anymore. And now we're thinking of labeling trans people as terrorists. I'm going to read some stuff that I pulled up on ChatGPT after doing some logic check and source check
Yeah,
with it. Um, for some of her recent Instagram posts and official uh, press briefings that have related to demonic forces and transgenderism or transgender maniac or transgender. Um, and there's one from, it's a quote out of the Daily Beast is there's a demonic force moving when a transgender maniac sprays bullets at
right.
pews of Catholic school children. That's the most recent. Then there's the official press briefing of it means no more funding for transgenderism and wokeness across our federal bureaucracy and agencies. That was from January 29th of this year to defund programs on gender inclusivity and transgenderism. Um, she's had various things over this past year of demons, transgenderism, and dehumanizing language in every way she can. Um, what are your thoughts on the Adam Kinzinger article
I,
that you sent? Because I
I
think that was a really good one.
it is a really good one, and
And I'll link it in the chat too while you're talking about it.
yeah, I'll have to pull it back up to make sure I don't misquote anything though, because I have been very distracted lately. And it wasn't one of the things I picked up. I was picking up more other stuff that's been done. I also noticed that um, Tim Whitaker, who will be with us on the 11th and 16th, has been publishing a lot specifically about Christian nationalism now. He's labeling it,
Yes,
he's describing it, um, and that really
there's a
also,
link.
yeah. Okay. I was just going to pull up Adam Kinzinger on my Substack really fast. So
Yeah, and for
I
anyone in
didn't
the
realize you
chat,
were going to ask me about what he wrote. I just was keeping it.
no, you don't. I mean, you don't have to respond specifically to what he wrote, but what did you think
Um,
of the article? Like, because
the
I
article,
listened to it, it was really good.
yeah, it was really good. It pointed out that Christian nationalism has really been corrupting our politics, and
Hmm.
he points out that it's been going on for a while, and
Yeah.
we have not we have been so unaware. And I mean, was it you or someone else that said that we should have been talking about this a long time ago? And I felt like such an idiot because I saw it
You and I were
and
texting about it.
yeah, I was like, wait a second, yeah, I saw this in 2003, 2002, but I
Hmm.
thought we have a wall of separation between church and state. This can never happen. And I feel like such an
How
idiot now that it has to
how
go,
naive were we?
"If- what about that church and state wall thingy? Where did it go?" And I don't know if you know this now, but the people on the far right are starting this new push for MAGA. It's MACA, Make America Christian Again. And they are couching their language because I was just listening to Joshua Hames before we started. They are couching their language in returning to decency and morality. They are not talking about the fact that they want to turn us, though he said the word theonomy, he said
Hmm.
it very quickly in passing. So they say that we want to start a theocracy, but that's not true. It's more of a theonomy. And then he immediately went on because he didn't want people to wonder, what is a theonomy? What does that mean? And he said, it's not like a theocracy. A theonomy, literally, and he was talking about having a county magistrate, and then the magistrate literally enacts the Old Testament law. He was very honestly owning that
Yeah.
and saying, we empower our local magistrates to enforce the law from the Old Testament, and we all will be much better off. And
Yeah, it's
that's not.
it's not. We're not going to be better off
No.
from Old Testament, which means, and we've never been a Christian nation. Like, let's make sure we have to clarify too. Like, so nobody is, there's no question. We are not a Christian nation. There's no reference to Jesus in our Constitution. There's no reference
Correct.
to the Bible in our Constitution. There is no specific reference to a deity or one
Right.
deity in our Constitution. And our Constitution specifically lays out a separation of church and state and the Establishment Clause, and that the
Right.
U.S. government cannot establish or favor any one religion, because that is antithetical to a
Correct.
free and fair democracy.
And the Treaty of Tripoli specifically stated we are not a Christian nation.
For 99.99% of our, I'll talk about that, Sonny. 99.99% of our history, we're not a Christian nation.
Correct.
In fact, all 100%, we're not a Christian nation. Like, we've
Right.
never been. So that one nation under God thing was part of the Red Scare, and was actually was the beginnings of Christian nationalism in a lot of ways in this country. And it was used as a way to replace our original national motto of E pluribus unum, which means out of many, one. And they replaced it with one nation under God to create an identity during the Red Scare. It's also why in the Pledge of Allegiance, you now say under God,
It wasn't
because it was during the Red Scare. They added it. If you listen to old, I think it's either Looney Tunes or Animaniacs, one of the old shows before they changed it. I think it's Looney Tunes.
Yeah, it's Looney Tunes.
Right? They have a plaque where it has the Pledge of Allegiance from that year, and there is no under God in it, because it was added after they made that episode. So the religious aspect is a scare and a movement. Like, we need to return to, these people call themselves constitutionalists. Well, then let's return to our constitutional values and reset our motto to E pluribus unum, because that's what we are, is out of many, one. There's a reason I like my rainbow behind me of Legos, is it's a little subtle reminder of out of many little bricks, you make one cool little rainbow. And that's kind of what America's supposed to be, is out of many, one.
And another thing about, great, now I lost what I was going to say to you. Shoot, I had it. I had to wait a second.
Your train.
I know, darn it. Shoot, let's see. We were at, Constitution.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but I get so frustrated. Right now we have people talking about an originalist reading of the Constitution. And they use that as an excuse to take away things like the right to an abortion. Because they say the 1800s, you didn't have that, or the 1700s. So obviously they never intended for us to have it. Now, if they really had expected us to live with a constitution that was constantly stuck in the 1700s, they would not have made it amendable, for starters. It was never meant to be taken as we're going to apply the 1700s rules to the 21st century.
Yeah.
But part of what they're using to manipulate all of this stuff is saying, it's supposed to be the 1700s all over again. And
if they want
so many little tricks they do.
If they want that, then let's start amending the shit out of the Constitution. Literally, the first thing that they did after writing the Constitution was they amended it. They added the Bill of Rights. They added the first 10 amendments right away. They were like, okay, here's the Constitution. It's a framework. And now here's 10 amendments to it.
Right.
Go.
Hmm.
And it's only been, what, 50 years since we've had an amendment? The thing is,
Yeah.
I think we've gone so long. We've gone over a generation of people without an amendment that people forget that we can amend the Constitution and that we need to and we must amend it because
Hmm.
it's a living document. Thomas Jefferson, as much as of a controversial figure as he is now, um, does not exclude his writings that he put down about this stuff. Like, it's important to read and understand these documents because they're the
Correct.
people who wrote the damn thing. And
Hmm.
if you want to be constitutionalist or conservative, maybe you should learn about the thing you're trying to conserve rather than just spouting, oh, you're trying to cancel us. No, it's
They're
okay
not
to
trying
know
to
that these people are. It's okay to know, like, Washington was a slave owner. I'm okay knowing that
Mhm.
because it doesn't change the fact that he still helped found this country and he did one thing and he did some things amazingly well. Like, he handed over his sword and said there's a separation of military and
Right.
civilian leadership. Like, he didn't have to do that.
No,
They wanted him to be king. He chose not to be. Like, we gotta we need to take back the Constitution.
we
Like,
do.
they're not conservatives. We are. I'm
They
a conservative.
Ever since Citizens United, we've needed a serious amendment to get money out of politics. It's
Hmm.
why our country is in such dire straits. I mean, there are countries everywhere passing laws about election interference now, and we
Yeah.
can't because the people who benefited from it run the country.
We're loosening the laws.
Yes,
Yeah,
because
we don't even enforce the ones we have.
right.
It's the worst. Um, yeah, it's awful. And all what it is it's this maca, or
Hmm.
which just sounds like vomit when I say it. So I'm glad they came up with that one. Um, because, like, MAGA was okay. It sounds like mega, but now they're like overdoing it. Like, Maha was a bit much, and now
Yeah,
Maca, and you're like, ugh, too much, y'all. Like, you're done. You've overplayed your hand.
yeah,
It doesn't sound cool. Your current leader is dying. We see it. He looks like a meat puppet. And your voice of the people, your press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, is spouting fascist rhetoric and garbage to other people. Um, and I actually want to get your thoughts because, so I looked into it,
hmm,
and I'm going to make sure we're very clear. There is no objective evidence anywhere at this point that Caroline Leavitt is associated with Opus Dei. So
right.
Caroline Leavitt is a Catholic nationalist, not a Christian
Hmm.
nationalist. They're very similar. She's a fascist, just like the Christian fascists. They all have a very similar plot, but they have slightly different flavors of that plot. Um, so she is a Catholic nationalist, which is why I looked up the group Opus Dei, because
Hmm.
they're a group associated with J.D. Vance,
Hmm.
um, and some other really shitty people, Russ Vought and those people. She is not specifically associated with them in any way. There's
Right.
been I had it checked, double checked for sources, and that there's no verified ties um of her. It's a low confidence
Hmm.
that any exist on current public record. Private record, that may be very different. There could be a very private record around this, but on public record, there's none. There's not a lot in existence that she is associated with Opus Dei. However, she has very similar political views and leanings.
Right.
So even if she's not functionally associated with them, she's, like, theoretically in the same camp as them. Um, and but her speeches talk a lot about um, othering and demonic forces and forces of
Correct.
evil and taking back and fighting. It's a very crusader rhetoric. Um, and it also ties into one of my least favorite people, but favorite subjects to talk about is Pete Hegseth. Um, and the attack on women and women in general and women's rights. And it's all very similar because it's all the same fascism underneath. Um, but sticking, we'll get to Caroline Leavitt, or we'll get to Pete Hegseth later if we want to, only
Yeah.
if we want to, because Caroline Leavitt is a big enough target of her own.
Hmm.
Um, what do you what do you think? Let's go back to the sh let's just go back to her comments generally on
Okay.
demonic forces and transgenderism.
Okay.
Is what do you think the end game is right now
Um,
for them?
well, that's interesting because I mean, if you listen to you have to kind of, and this is a really hard thing for me to do, but you kind of have to go into the network of all of them and kind of hear them echoing each other back and forth and kind of watch. And they have been, of course, portraying LGBTQ people as either mentally ill or demonically possessed for quite a while. And there is inside this, of course, your shoot the group, the apostolic people, the
The
New Christian
new
Apostolic,
apostolic
yeah, those
Reformation
people,
Seven Mountain Mandate
yeah,
folks.
the NAR people, they are very much into spiritual warfare. They actually believe that there are demons running all over the world, that if you get sick, it's a demon impressing you. If you get hurt, it's a demon causing it. And it's all about spiritual warfare, proclaiming Jesus, taking that quote unquote protection of the word, da da da. And so when you put people into that category, there are only a couple of possibilities here. One possibility is you kill them to protect everybody, or you round them up and do, you know, exorcisms on them.
Mhm.
And either way, it pretty much says those people are definitely not normal, not acceptable, and dangerous.
Yeah,
Period. And so it's a type of othering that is very very frightening. As somebody who has I was accidentally put into a healing ceremony for my IC. And when I told the healer that I wasn't healed, they accused me of being possessed.
yeah.
And
Um,
what you are taught in Christianity is you cannot be possessed if you are a believer. So this also takes anybody who is openly gay and Christian and all of their Christian allies and says they are not really Christian. Because if they were Christian, the allies would have the discernment to see these people are not Christian because they're possessed. And the possessed people, of course, can't be Christian because if they were Christian, they couldn't be possessed. So it's a very alarming thing when you put it in what they're hearing. And that's what really alarmed me reading all of it was, oh my goodness, they're actually
yeah,
calling for eradication. They really are.
yes, yeah, and it it harkens to Nazi rhetoric. It's different than Nazi rhetoric.
Yeah, because the Nazis
In
wanted to abandon Christianity, the higher level. They were actually trying to
Yeah,
create a folk religion. So they
yeah, and
abandoned.
the Nazi side in um in terms of like the parallels to what's going on now is Hitlerism is
Mhm,
basically Trumpism. Like
mhm,
if you want to imagine what Hitlerism is, it's Trumpism, but instead of going towards occults and like pagan traditions and Norse traditions and folk traditions, they went towards Christianity. They just used the church instead. Like it's same fascism, different
mhm.
flavor.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and the fear that's going to come out of all of this, and this is the thing that we have to be prepared for, is they are going to label trans people as terrorists at some point.
Mhm,
They're going to try to,
right.
and you are not. Like, you're not a terrorist for being a person. Your personhood does not make you a terrorist. Like,
No.
I assure you as a friend,
Who
as a
you are
friend to
attracted
your
to shouldn't
community.
make you a terrorist.
Yeah, like they didn't burn witches at Salem. They burned women who were uppity.
Right.
And like they didn't just murder Jews in the Holocaust. They
Mm,
killed trans people. They
and
killed
Roma,
the Romani. They killed everyone who
or
was disabled that they could. They killed the Jehovah's Witnesses too. Like there were large groups of people who were massacred outside of the Jews. The Jews were the largest, most concentrated population, and we were the main target. But it was
they
about Arianism and not
mhm.
Christianity at the time.
They also
Now
killed
it's about,
socialists. They killed
hmm
communists. They killed gay men, but they didn't kill lesbians because they believed they could, if the lesbian was Aryan, they could force her to make children. And it was all about breeding the new generation of superior man.
yeah,
So
yeah.
lesbians were safe
And
because they could have babies.
yeah, and I'm gonna uh, comment on what Miranda said as being one of the top scapegoats for these scoundrels sucks. And yeah, I I can't say I know, um, and I worry for my friends. I worry for you, Miranda. I worry for my other friends. I worry for everyone who is not white enough and Trump enough and whatever enough for whatever JD enough for whatever they want to be. Like the phrasing, the terminology they use, the reason that an attack happened, and this is me conjecture, this is my conjecture. I am not a uh, forensic investigator for a criminal bureau. I am just, this is my conjecture and speculation. But I've been told I'm right enough about my conjectures and speculations that I'm just going to conjecture and speculate on this one a little bit. Um, is one, the individual who shot those children at the Catholic school and church had issues. They were not related to those, to
Mm-mm.
them being transgender. If that part of the story is true and makes sense, because it's very
Right.
questionable, it's very odd. I met a lot of folks, I've met multiple folks who are transgender in my life, in real life. You, you have a community around you who support and love you when you transition, when you
Right.
become who you are. And if you lose a community around you, you then go find and make one. And I've never once seen someone not try to reach out to a community.
Hmm.
And this individual didn't in any way, shape, or form reach out to a community of
Mm-mm.
other folks who were transitioning. Their parent was the one who changed their name and not them. And it
Weird.
doesn't add up. And I believe, my belief, just mine, is that this person was either put into that situation and their family was paid off, because the parent is being very suspicious, just like the parents of the shooter who attempted to assassinate Donald Trump apparently and killed that man in the Butler rally. Their parents are awfully silent and left their jobs and got paid off in some way too,
Hmm.
because they disappeared in a very wrong way. Um, but this individual's mom or guardian, I'm going to say guardian, let's parent, isn't speaking in a way that would be normal or consistent with either someone who has sought or is a parent of a shooter
Hmm.
or is in that situation. Like they're not responding in a normal way. And the investigation that we know of, it ended, the public investigation ended when the word trans was mentioned. And that was it. They didn't care after that. It's not, I think that person was an individual who had actual mental issues, who was masquerading in a community and was given the choice to make a terrible, or groomed into a community to make a terrible decision. and killed a bunch of kids and killed two kids and injured a bunch of others,
Yeah.
and is being used as a viable scapegoat or red flag or red herring or black swan or false flag event to usher in the ability to call trans people terrorists.
Terrorists.
Because
Make
when was the last
everybody.
time a trans person did a mass shooting of any sort?
Well, there have been like 3 others. What time?
Total since
Yeah.
Columbine. Three, like 4 total now since Columbine. Like I
So
was in fucking
it
elementary
looks
school,
them
I
up.
think, when Columbine happened. I don't even remember exactly when Columbine
There's
happened.
at least 4 since 2018. So 4 in 7 years.
And
Um,
and nobody is talking about the fact that the
this one
weapons
has
were covered in Russian
5 people.
print. Like I was 9 years old then when Columbine happened. Like I was in a, it was that's disgusting. Like 4, and it's the only person that it's the only piece of news that they cared about on it was that this individual was quote trans. Miranda, please tell me if I'm wrong and I overstepped, and I hope I didn't, and I hope I didn't hurt you or anyone else in the community. I just don't believe this individual. I don't believe the story that is coming out about this person. I think that there's something wrong in this story, and we should be questioning everything the government puts out.
Well,
Um,
the other thing, even if they were trans, that they point out that this person had no access to mental health care. They had multiple people say this person is disturbed and needs mental health care, and nothing was done for them.
I
And
think they
and
were schizophrenic.
and so when you've got, well, most schizophrenics also are not usually violent like this. So calling a schizophrenic also can
Well,
create,
I can't, I'm not going to diagnose. I
but
think they
yeah,
had a mental issue that was
they
undiagnosed.
and it's really common. I was just looking at, here's these shootings, um, and they going back to 2018. Um, let's see, we've got September 2018, female to male identified trans, Snokia Mosley in Aberdeen, Maryland. Then female to male, Devin Erickson, and then um, let's see, Colorado Springs, Anderson Lee Aldrich in 2022, and then with Audrey Aiden Hale in 2023 in Nashville. So, like, there's just been a handful, and they've all been since 2018. And several of them were female to male. Um, Male to female, it's sort of about evenly divided between the two. So, but you can be mentally ill and be trans, just like you can be mentally ill and be
Yeah.
straight.
Yeah.
It,
And it's not about the transness.
yeah. There's evidence that the person was a detransitioner. Yes, Miranda points out that because there's a note saying they regretted transitioning, which also bothers me a little bit because that is also pretty rare. But when that's the person who gets to be the shooter, it creates
Yeah.
this other backlash. Oh, trans shouldn't even be transitioning because obviously that'll make them violent.
Yeah. And it adds, just like, yeah, you just said that, is it adds a layer of evil that they can wrap into that some way, because that's what they want. They want a villain. It's a black swan event, or it is a false flag.
Right.
I won't use black swan because I don't want to use anything that is like that does have racial underpinnings, I think, in some ways that it's being used, especially by some groups. Let's stick with the um hold on.
Blonde legally says, as a straight white chick from the southern states of America, I've never felt threatened or endangered by a trans person. I'm daily made to feel threatened by straight white dudes between the ages of 36 to 80. What they don't understand is they should be far more concerned about me if they come at me uninvited. Blonde, I hate
Yeah.
being female, so I totally get what you're saying there. I really do. I don't
Yeah,
hate my body. I hate what men assume they can do to me just because I'm female. And I've always resented that. So,
yeah. And it's just like all of it is just not lining up. Like,
right.
um, and I'm not going to go into what Roger Helbig said. I banned him, or I thought I blocked him earlier.
Okay.
He's a fucking asshole. He questioned that there was a Holocaust or that there was a genocide going on in
Oh,
Palestine, and that while
really?
Walter and I were discussing it, and we were like, yeah, we're not going to do that. We're not going to question what's in front of our fucking eyes, that we can see that there's a genocide going on
Right.
in Palestine and people are being massacred, and it's not okay. And it's
Right.
not fucking okay that it's happening. Like, fuck off. Like, fuck all the way off. Don't tell me shit like that. Anyway, getting back to our conversation, because I don't want to get derailed by these
Yeah.
idiots, is we, one, we're not going to frame how we talk about things and like what we do in our actions afterward in their sensibility, in right wing sensibilities. Trans people are people, women are people, end of story. Like, people are people, end of fucking story. Skin color aside, because people do value cultural identity and differences and the beauty that separates us. Not talking about that. People are fucking people. Like,
Mhm.
treat humans with basic, decent sovereignty and dignity. All of us. Like, if you're truly a Christian, you should be leading the charge, because the golden rule is y'all's shit. Like, do
Right.
unto others as you want done unto you is Christianity. That is the Christian faith boiled down
Mm-hmm.
into a phrase. Like, start doing unto others the way you want done. Like, be nice. Be fucking empathetic to people. Love people. Care about people. Just have the basic confidence to say that people are people,
Hmm.
that trans people are people,
Yeah.
that women are people. It's a reason, one of the reasons we're talking about this topic too, is because it does work into some of the stuff going on in the VA,
Yeah.
and with the services and the way that they are rooting out trans members and getting rid of their ability to have retirement. I met one of I believe she was the first trans infantry member. Her name was Trish. She's an amazing woman. She's testified before Congress multiple times. She's a friend of mine. They're stripping her service rights, and
Mm.
they're going to strip her benefits, her retirement,
Yep.
her disability
All of
away.
it's gone.
All of it.
Yep. Because
All
she's
of
trans.
it.
That's the only reason.
Just
There's
because she's
nothing
trans.
she's done wrong.
She
Absolutely nothing.
served in combat,
Honorably.
and they're going to take her benefits away. There's a
Mhm.
reason when I talk about issues now, especially about veteran issues, I don't single out women anymore. It's not a woman's issue anymore. It never has been, but it's definitely not a women's issue. It's a
Mhm.
veteran's issue. It's a personhood issue.
Right.
And it's fucking disgusting what they're doing,
Mhm.
because the trans women and men and anywhere in between have served more honorably than any of you shitbags who sat on your couch playing Call of Duty saying, I could have served. I wanted to join up. Well, you fucking didn't. Get fucked, assholes. Like,
Yeah.
please, please. Like, come at my friends, come at my service
Mhm.
members. I don't care any longer what their opinions are, because they're awful fucking people and they're hurting veterans. And
Mhm.
one of the things that they're doing right now, and it's going to be a call to action that I have for everyone, I've done it on all my shows today, except maybe my first. But my call of action today is I'm going to put a link in our show notes for the VA policy change
Right.
that
We
has
have till
been
September
proposed
6th.
right now. We have till tomorrow, September 3rd, to continue to put public comment on. It is a public comment section for a VA policy proposal on a government website. You will please put a decent human comment that
Right.
cares, saying why we should keep the policy the way it is to
Right.
allow veterans and CHAMP VA recipients to access abortion care and
Mhm.
abortion counseling. Both, both are going to be removed.
Right.
Veterans and CHAMP VA recipients. Let me say
Right.
that again. Veterans, any female presenting veteran or veteran who could have a baby in any way, shape, or form will not have access to abortion care
Hmm.
or abortion consultation, which means if you get assaulted while serving, as they're destroying the protection mechanisms for you to report that assault, you can no longer get an abortion and you are forced to live with somebody else's actions. And you are forced to live because under somebody else raping you. And
Hmm.
it's not okay what they're doing because
Not only
it
that,
hurts veterans, every veteran. Go
right.
ahead. Then I want to talk about the CHAMP VA side.
The reason that it was done, it was allowed, was because the ending of Roe v. Wade made it disproportionate where you could get care because it went back to the states. So they added travel and everything else to give everybody equal access again.
Hmm.
And what we've seen in Texas shows what happens when you can't have access to abortion care when something dangerous happens to you. We are discussing allowing veterans and service members to die if they have a pregnancy go bad. Even if you disagree with abortion on anything else, you should at least want people to have access to health care, period, for that sort of
Full
thing.
stop. Yep.
And the next one we're going to have to do probably in a week or so is we're going to have to beg them to go to the Federal Register because they're getting rid of SSI. They're cutting it to, if anyone lives with somebody, they're cutting 30% of SSI to recipients. SSI is the one that only gets $957 a month right now. So we're going to have to give them that Federal Register probably in another week.
And on top of veterans not having access to care, this is
Their kid.
their families.
Mm-hmm.
If you and the worst part about this, so CHAMP VA is a cost sharing secondary healthcare service, or for those of us say who don't have insurance but are very disabled, near 100% or at 100%. We get access to CHAMP VA, which means we're the most disabled of the veterans. We're the most likely to have the most issues, the most medical costs, the most medical needs. They are saying that either you as the veteran or your family member who is on that sharing service, so if you happen to go somewhere and need access to an abortion care or consultation, abortion consultation, that also could include, they're trying to word it so that it might not, but it's going to include miscarriages. A
Mm-hmm.
miscarriage is an abortion consultation. Like when you go into one, I, I know, I know. When you go into one of those, it's an abortion consultation. They say they're not going to get rid of that, but when there are no doctors left who can perform OGBYN services in any way, it doesn't matter if abortions are illegal or not. Women are just going to die. Like, it doesn't matter because we have one of the highest rates of pregnancy related deaths in a first world nation. We're not a first world nation. Um, Welcome, Elaine. Yeah, you're right on time to talk about we're talking about heavy shit today. Um,
DC loves womb sniffers too. That's
um,
one of her favorite topics.
and it's just, it's not just veterans, it's our families. Not just that, And Ken Harbaugh and I talked about this earlier today. I had Ken Harbaugh on for a vet talk on Banner and Backbone. We talked about this too, is it's not, if you don't think it's you next in this list of things, because veterans used to be a protected class or a group that we didn't come after, or we didn't visibly come after an attack, and always were propped up. And we used to hear things like 22 a day veterans commit suicide. Well, they
Mhm.
shut down our suicide prevention hotline.
Yes, they did.
That was literally the first thing they did for the VA, was shut down the veteran suicide hotline. And now they're not required to ask you, do you want to hurt yourself? Are you thinking about killing yourself today? They're not required to ask that. So veterans are dying because of these decisions. Then they got rid of veteran care for and veteran status and retirement status or any military status for trans service members. The Air Force, the first ones to do it was the Air Force, because the Air
Mhm.
Force had the biggest backlash not too long ago that made them the most open and accepting of the services. And they just got rid of
Mm.
all of their trans service members. That's a message. They're sending a
Yeah, it is.
message. They got rid of all the women at the head of the DoD. Anyone of color is
Yeah.
gone at the DoD. It's a message. It's a nationalist Christian message that you
Women,
are not welcome and you belong as a woman in the home. And if you're
correct.
trans, you belong in the oven or whatever the hell they want to do next,
Mhm.
because that's what they want to do. Like,
Well,
you're a
I was
demon to them. You're a
no, I was
demon to them.
considering the whole way that women are viewed in Christian nationalism, and literally, we aren't expected to demand control of our own bodies because you are
Mhm.
taught this thing called complementarianism, which is pretty much separate but equal version of patriarchy. It says,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's not that you are." In fact, as a woman in Bible studies, I was taught that it wasn't that I'm not capable of thinking; it's that men needed to believe that they were more important than me, and that I had to let men control my life to make them happy. And, I that's why, abortion is illegal to them. It's because we aren't expected to be able to say, "Yes, I want to have a baby," or "No, I don't."
Mhm.
We aren't allowed to say, "Yes, I want to work outside the home." "No, I don't." We are supposed to do what a man tells us, period.
Yeah.
There
Maka.
is no other answer.
Maca. That's what they
Yeah.
want.
Make
Maca
America Christian again.
is their new thing. It sounds like vomit when you say it. It's Maca. It's Make American Christian or Make American Catholic again, which again, we're not. We've never been in our entire history a Christian nation. Our founding fathers, those who we revere as founding fathers, were deists and humanists. None of them were Catholic or Christian or Protestant. They all left. They may have talked about God because they all knew and were taught about God, and that was something they knew how to talk about and reference in their writings, but they were not Christians. They were not Protestants. They were not Baptists. They were
Mhm.
not Christian nationalists. They were humanists who had some good ideas. They had some good ideas. They had some bad ideas. They did some bad things. There's
Oh,
some
yeah.
really bad things. They owned slaves. They beat their wives. They did some shitty shit. They founded our country with some decent ideals. And we want to uphold the ideals that they may have not been able to live up to themselves, but they wrote down. And they're good ideals to try and live up to,
Mhm.
of separation of church and state, reminding ourselves that the Constitution is amendable, reminding ourselves that women are people
Yes.
and
Like
trans people are people and
And
men
gay
are
people are
people
people,
and
men are
gay
people.
people are people and lesbians are people and asexual people are people and
Mhm.
anyone in between who is personish is people, unless they're those fake people that are like coming out of the spirit realm and trying to take you. And I won't say their names because I live in a fairly spiritual area with
Mm,
Native American lore about folks who wear your flesh as a suit. Um, and we don't talk about them, just like we don't talk about Bruno. We don't talk about them because they then come and take you, which is actually where the Bigfoot legend comes in, because Bigfoot is the protector of humans. We should go into that sometime. I
Oh,
love
cool.
lore like that. Anyway,
I was called
all of
Sasquatch in boot
this,
camp.
all of this is a mate is all of this comes back to is our original topic of Carol, or who
Right.
we introduced today is Caroline Leavitt, KKKaroline, and the cross that gets larger every time she lies. It's like the Pinocchio nose of crosses, um, and her use of demons and demonic forces and otherization of the trans community, otherization of the LGBTQ community at large, otherization of anybody who is not as white or Catholic or Christian as
Hmm.
she or Peter Thiel or JD Vance or Stephen Miller or Russell Vought or any of those disgusting, bigoted human beings want everybody else to be. Because
Right.
we need to be talking about the ones behind and not Trump, because like our friend Tim Whitaker, who's going to be coming on the show twice for us, we're going to have two good shows
So lovely.
with Tim, and I get a third show with him with Melissa Corrigan.
Oh, you're
Um,
all over it. Awesome.
yeah, I'm all over it. Tim's awesome. I like his writing a lot. He's very honest about it. It is Christian
And
nationalist,
he was a
or
pastor.
yeah, and he knows folks. He knows these people. He's met them. He's gone to and does go to Turning Point events. And that's why he's trustworthy in this, is because he doesn't believe what they do. He doesn't believe the fascism that they do, or the dominionism that they want, because that's not the Christianity he sees, or at least he presents. And it's good that we need faith leaders like that, because Christians need to reclaim their faith if they
Mhm.
want to have a faith that is not tied to bigotry. Like,
Yeah.
it's on you as a Christian or a Baptist or a Protestant or a Catholic or whatever flavor.
Right.
If you want your religion to not be tied to bigotry, well, then fight it, change it.
Jimmy Carter was a Baptist, an independent Baptist, and he was pro LGBTQ, and his Baptist church is pro LGBTQ.
Mhm.
So don't assume when you hear a certain denomination that you're going to deal with a bigot, because that isn't always the case.
Yeah,
They're out there, though, especially the Southern Baptist Church. It pretty much has adopted an anti LGBTQ national stance.
yeah.
So,
So we're right at the top of the hour, so
yeah,
we're gonna work to make sure that we don't go too long in our extra,
right.
because we always like to talk. Is Yeah, rest in peace, President Carter, because um he did some amazing things, and um he started Habitat, basically is Habitat for Humanity, or was Habitat for Humanity, and that's amazing. Like, the work he did was Christian.
Mhm.
It
It
was
was.
true to the Christian faith. It was giving back to the community. It was loving others. It was being there for your neighbors. It was very Judeo Christian Islamic faith, loving thyself and thy neighbor, giving to thy neighbor, caring for the poor. Those are Judeo Christian Islamic beliefs and
Mhm.
values. I include Islam because they're all part of the same Abrahamic faith systems. And it's important that we include them, not because they're part of the hate in America right now, but because they have had a history of hate. They do have a history of hate, just like Judaism has had a history
Mhm.
of hate and does have a history of hate. We're seeing it right now in Palestine. It's hatred, what they're doing, what Netanyahu is doing. It's hatred. Fascism and genocide are fueled by hatred and not reporting on it.
Right.
Darkness. They're fueled by darkness. And so I'm so glad, Lisa, that you and I talk about these things, because it
Yeah,
cannot be in darkness.
it can't
Uh,
be. We got to keep people aware of what's going on. And I feel bad that it took so long for me to realize that this was dangerous, because I saw it and I can remember thinking, well, the country would never let that happen. And now here we are. And I just feel like such an idiot.
what my therapist would say is, do not put the emotional burden of your past self on your current self so that you would limit your actions. So don't look at that so much as a burden. Any like reevaluate, know that maybe you didn't do it earlier, but you're doing it now. And we're doing it every week, twice a week on
Yep.
Tuesdays
We
and
are.
Thursdays at 4 p.m. Eastern. We are here every week, the two of us.
Yep.
We have Tim Whitaker coming soon. Maybe we'll start getting some other guests on too around this because we've been doing this for a while and it's awesome. And I love that we keep doing it. Yeah, and there's
Yep. We did
115
fun.
of us here right now on this chat, and I think we get nearly 100, if not more, every week at this
Yep.
point. And it's a group of returnees, a group of you guys. Our subscriber base comes back
Yes.
every week, and it's amazing.
Thank you for that.
Thank you for that. Please support both Lisa and myself. If you haven't subscribed to either one of us, or
Yep.
only subscribed to one, please subscribe to Lisa if you're one of my subs.
Yeah.
She definitely deserves your support.
Definitely subscribe to Nick if you're one of mine, though I think most of his overlap with mine quite a bit. So
And I have one final plug because I know folks have asked about it in other chats as well. And we have friends who've asked about it all earlier in the day. Is my son is doing better. My son on Thursday broke his arm while I was live on air last week, and I had to rush off. Um, and he's doing well. He's casted up, broke both bones in his forearm. He's casted up. They didn't need to do any major surgery. However, we are currently in the process of getting CHAMPVA and other cost sharing and health services that we can for forgiveness, financial aid and things. So I'm also asking if anyone can become paid or founding subs for me. That would be really appreciated. I love the support, and also it helps grow the network. And if you're already a free sub, please come and be a paid sub if you want. I'm doing a 50% off discount too. And yeah, he broke, yeah, right here,
yep.
basically in the middle. He's lucky he didn't break his wrist or his shoulder. We're really fortunate that whatever way he fell and wherever he did it, it was perfectly aligned that the docs could get the bones back into place without having to put pins in and do surgery or like major surgery. They were manipulating it. Yeah, and I was on with Zev, Julie, with Zev and Ellie,
I was watching when it happened.
And yeah, Zev told me afterwards, he was like, "Man, you were as cool as a cucumber when that happened." And um, it was just the army training. I just sort of locked in. I was like, I did that finger thing. I was like, wait, and I walked off camera, and then I was like, hold on, I'm hosting this. I have to end this. And then so I went back and I was like, hey, etiquette, we got to end. Like this just happened. I I don't have a GoFundMe right now. The biggest support would actually be on Substack, because that helps build this network long term, and gives me a way to pay, say, monthly, trickle in, because all those right now, everything, like, it's $2.50 a month, $2.50 a month for half off. That trickle adds up to a lot really quick, and helps pay bills and keep food on the table. This is my full-time thing right now. And I'd love to blow it up and get as much attention, because then that also helps Lisa. That helps all my other friends who are creators. And that's really what I want, is a network of creators who are working with each other to build each other up. Because the more we create, the more we talk about it, the less of a vacuum there is from these idiots. So please consider becoming a paid sub for me, but also become a paid sub for Lisa. She deserves them too. Like, I love working with Lisa. You're amazing.
Well, thank you.
and I want you to keep growing. I love the porch talks that you do. I see you and Julie almost every night doing your porch
Oh,
talks, and
you
it's
do?
amazing.
Okay, yeah.
I don't always show up. Like I said, I don't always show up because
I
nighttime is hard
appreciate
for
it.
me because I like being with the family, but I do
Right?
see y'all out
Yeah,
there every night, and I
yeah.
love that you're doing it.
We've started. It's we try not to talk too much about politics on it. It's more just talk about nothing, and have started a writing prompt and reading people's uh fiction and so forth.
I love
Just
that.
just a place to kind of quit being freaked out about everything else that's going on every day. Because
That's awesome.
yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
but
And for those who don't know, I'm a poet. I do poetry.
yes, you
That's my
are.
main thing on here. So I love that people are being more creative. Um,
Yeah,
and I encourage that. Like, go be as creative as we can be.
yeah, yeah. I actually started pulling up books I'd started writing and never finished, and
Oh,
reading them and getting back into them and everything else. So
good. Good. That's
yeah.
amazing. And
I,
I started my poetry into a book. I'm collecting
oh,
it
cool.
into its book at this point now too. I
Yeah.
think I have enough to at least start some of the chapters. So I have a chapter one out
Well,
on my Substack.
if you ever want to just find a night and come on, we'll have you read for us.
Oh, absolutely. I'd
Okay,
love to do that.
great.
That'd be so much fun.
Yeah. Well, we better let you go. It's already almost a quarter after. We better let you get to it.
It's still before 5 p.m. We're still good. So I mean, we don't have to end. Really, if people don't want us to end, if y'all want us to stay, we can stay for a little while. I'm okay.
Okay.
Um, and that's up to you, Lisa, if you want to stay for a
Mhm.
little while too. I
I
don't.
I I can. I was looking at some of the other stuff here. We're gonna work on the car. Okay. Just thought I'd let you know. My son's here to I don't know if you saw my live porch thoughts. Now porch thoughts are recorded. They are not done live. And last week was a really bad week. Well, actually last month was a really bad month. My son bounced a money order. And when you make up a money order wrong, they pretty much keep the money and don't give it to the person you make it out to. And so he
That's
came
horse
to me
shit.
and I gave him all of my money that I have, which was $1,200, and hoped he could afford to pay me enough to keep my bills paid, and hoped that $100 would get me through eating. And I missed going to my congressman's home town hall meeting. And when I admitted that to everybody, I cried. And people were very nice. I have a GoFundMe because my taxes aren't caught up on my house. And so my friend Julie asked for my GoFundMe and then spread it around. And I was treated very kindly by a lot of people, and I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I see. So let's talk about like what faith and spirituality truly is then in this
mm,
is people coming together. The Christian faith is you practicing your faith privately and in your family and
right,
together, not controlled by the dictates of a single person telling you this is how you're supposed to believe or talk to
right,
God or be with God. And I'm not a religious person. I'm not. I'm agnostic at best. Like
hmm,
if there is a God, I got some questions. If there isn't, it doesn't matter because I'll be dead. Like who gives a shit?
right,
Like at that point, it's not gonna be my problem. When I die, at that point, it ain't my problem. Like if I'm dead and I'm dead and there's nothing else, okay, okay. Like I lived my life every single day that I was alive and I tried to.
right,
Being part of being Christian or being Jewish, if we want to call ourselves a Christian nation, if that's what they really want, then let's expose the precepts and principles of
hmm,
Christianity, which are
right,
loving thy neighbor and caring when others are in need. Like
correct,
when Lisa asked for help on a GoFundMe and Julie spread it and people step up and help. Or my son breaks his arm and I put out a unexpected ask and with Venmo links and stuff and I get an amazing amount of support back. And then the next morning my um hold on. I have Ashkenazi ancestry as well. Ours is fairly obvious, you know. I look kind of Jewish. And I got the curly hair, the beard, like I look like my grandfather when you sit him next to me.
My
It's really
son
funny.
has your beard.
Um, if it was straight, it's actually like another inch or two longer. So
Hmm.
I'm trying to get wizard status at some point. Um, but like I'm culturally Jewish. Like I have the traits, I have the genealogy, I have like there are genetic markers of being Jewish. Like I'm culturally Jewish. Um, I have some of the conditions of shit like that. Like, okay, like I gotta live with those things and that happened. But like if you want to live by the precepts and the ideals of these religions, then let's do it. Then fucking go ahead and do it. Love thy neighbor. Support like Lisa and I got. When I asked for help, I I got a tremendous amount of help and support, and people have been generous beyond belief. And then I woke up Saturday morning after my son woke me up early in the morning, and I'll actually read the poem because I thought it was really pretty. And I like reading my poetry, so it's my show. I get to do what I want. Um, is
It's Thursday. Watch out.
Yeah, heck yeah. See, this is the fun of it. We get to do what we want. And this is why I like hosting my own podcast now. I get to do what I want. Um, is I woke up Saturday morning feeling a sense of just comfort and like gratefulness. And like I said, I'm not religious.
Mhm.
I'm spiritual. I know that we're all connected in some way. And I felt it. Like my son woke me up before dawn. And so I got to watch a sunrise and I got to view the sunrise on a clear morning with just some
Mm.
clouds, just a couple. And it looked like a painting as I was doing it. And so as I was going through, or as I was listening, it was almost an hour and a half or 2 hours that I just sat listening, and each stanza was a different part of the sunrise, or a part of the night dawn leading into it, and I could feel the the thoughts and the energy coming towards our family. And I understand why people believe in prayer, because it's that feeling. It's that feeling of connectedness and that feeling of understanding and being together. It's okay to do that. Like, I'm not against religion. I'm against fascists who have taken religion and turned it into a nationalistic identity that hurts people. Like, that's not the Christian belief faith that I learned as a child when I was learning about Christianity. And Judaism is a lot of druidic, just like you said, has a lot of druidic and shamanistic practices.
Hmm.
It's also an offshoot of a polytheistic religion because the Jewish God is actually the god of war of the religion before it. I think it was the Zoroastrians that we broke it off from, and they talk about other gods in the Bible. Like God isn't the only God. So like I don't
No,
know where they
he's
get
just
this
got to be the
idea from.
god on top of the rest of them.
Yeah, he's just the God of gods. Like
Hmm.
he won the spiritual war in their way, in their viewpoint. So
Hmm.
but it's not what they think. Like there's multiple gods. Um and that's why I'm spiritual, is because it's okay that others have a belief system that I don't believe in, as long as it's not hurting anybody. Um, and so I woke up with a really overwhelming sense of gratitude, and like at ease when I was there. It was pre-dawn, then it was dawn, or as dawn was coming. And so I'm going to read my poem. This is a thank you almost to everyone who has helped support so far. And please, if you'd be willing to support um, more and continue to support. I love the paid subscribes to help. Family needs it. There's a lot coming. But
Yeah.
here's my poem from Saturday, which is Dawning of the Light. Awakened in the dawning of the light, gazing at stars still shining softly bright, casting gently down twinkling sighs of love, seeing a new day sweep in from above. Painted soft clouds streaking across the sky, brushing pinks and grays, a new day is nigh, shading orange, purple, strokes of indigo too, softly violet trails off into a day so new. Layered yellows and reds overlapping in waves, drops of gray trailing off into notes on the staves, conducting songs of life as the night retreats, pulsing chirps collide into cascading beats, souring down into glowing rays of gold, echoing grateful hope into a world so bold.
Mm,
And
beautiful.
so that was Dawning of the Light, and sort of my brush strokes of a dawn, of a sunrise.
I, uh, I see lots of sunrises. Um, I have lots of sleep issues, and I can tell when fall is coming because the mornings get misty again. In the
Mhm.
height of summer, mornings quit being misty, but when fall is on the way, the mornings end up covered in mist all over the fields, and you get to see the sun kind of glimmer off of it, and it's so silvery and beautiful. And dawn is a beautiful time.
Dawn
It
is
really
really pretty.
is.
Dawn is really pretty. Yeah.
It's
And
different than sunset.
I'm glad I got to capture it.
Yeah.
Because I've seen a lot of sunsets, and sunsets are so beautiful.
Mhm.
Um, like I've gotten to see sunsets in New Mexico, which
Mhm.
if you've ever been to New Mexico, like they call it the painted desert for a reason.
Right.
Like sunsets in New Mexico. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Um, but this was just, and I live in like the almost just outside of a city, in my area in Arkansas. So it's not like I don't have lights and stuff, but there were
Mhm.
just, I was able to see the clouds and watch the change of color
Mhm.
and it go from dark to light, and
Mhm.
the clouds just gray streak across.
Mhm.
And it was really pretty. It reminded me of a Bob Ross painting.
Mhm.
Um, and that's actually how I described it in my like write up afterwards. I was like, part of it was like I was like it looked like Bob Ross was just like telling me like, oh, in a beautiful tree, we'll sit right here. Let us paint this beautiful tree on this life and add this beautiful color of red right on top and underneath, and maybe we'll shade it in with some pink.
I have a
um,
Bob Ross Lego guy.
do you? I
Yeah.
love Bob Ross.
I have a Bob Ross Lego guy complete with paintbrush.
Oh, I love that. I miss the ease. We actually, one of the channels on our TV, it's just like one of a random channel, is the
Mhm.
Bob Ross channel.
Right.
And you can just watch Bob Ross episodes over, it's
Right.
on loop and it's so
Mhm.
relaxing.
Yeah.
Um,
He was Air
and
Force,
mhm,
and he never wanted to yell again. That's why his painting show is so quiet, because he did not want to yell. He wanted to create that peaceful, quiet
Happy Little
thing.
Clouds.
Yes, happy little clouds, happy little trees.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
I
Bob Ross was a, well, the thing is, we have allowed ourselves to lose a lot of the hope and joy in life recently, I think.
It's
We
pretty
like we've made
frightening right now.
ourselves, yeah, we've made ourselves boring and dull, and like we've sad beige babied our
Mhm.
lives, like, or like trad wived our lives into fascism and Christofascism and Nazis. And yeah, we need an empathy reboot. We need people
Yeah.
to come out of the woodwork and start writing music. And like, when was the last great composition that you've heard? Like, orchestral composition. Like, there's still beautiful orchestras out there. Like,
Yeah, there
I
are.
was an I trained as a musician, as a classical musical, for
Mhm.
classical music theory and composition.
Mhm.
Orchestra is still big and it's huge, and people do it for a
Mhm.
living. And there's some amazing composers out there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, one of my intros and outros, actually, all of the music that I use for the shows when I do through Restream are music that I've written and have.
Oh, wow. I'd love to
Um,
hear it then.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
I'm a
Um,
classically trained pianist.
Oh, I may have to show you. I have all of my manuscripts still and my compositions in a suitcase.
Yeah.
Because part of being a composer was you got your own composition and you
Hmm.
made sure that you wrote your notes in it and you talked to people.
Hmm.
Um, and, um, and I have a couple piano pieces, solo pieces that I think you might find enjoyable. One is called
Oh.
Water Jazz. It's
Mhm.
incredibly difficult.
Okay.
But the other called is called a ballad or a ballad blue. Um, and that one I wrote while I was in France, in
Hmm.
Paris, and
Oh, wow.
I went to Paris twice for a music theory and
Nice.
composition program, and I got to play on Claude Debussy's piano at one point. Um, yeah, the person who ran that program was one of Nadia Boulanger's students, um,
Nice.
and so I got to go twice, and it was so amazing. And I just didn't go into music because I didn't have the money to afford to go down that way. But I mean,
Hmm.
um, I write poetry now, so
Hmm.
I guess still musical. Like I'm using my degree finally. I'm still paying on it, however many years, like 12 years later. But I'm finally using that music degree for something.
Yeah.
Hmm,
My piano teacher, she was insane. She her
that sounds about right.
her uncle owned a music conservatory, and she would get on the mail truck and ride up to his conservatory every day. And she would have times when she would like go crazy and show me all of her suicide scars.
Ooh,
And when her cat died, she actually kept it on her counter where it died to show it to me. And it died on a Friday, and my piano lessons were on a Wednesday.
like like she just let it stay on her counter just to
Yes.
show you.
Yes.
Like not taxidermied and not
No,
like
no,
I took
no.
care of it
Just
and then
left it
here's my
there.
cat in a stand.
No. No, here's my
No,
cat laying on a towel where it fell asleep and never woke up again on my kitchen counter. And I was
that's
like,
weird
she
as
was like
fuck.
70 something. And and I'm like 14. I'm like, do you need me to dig a hole for you? She's like, oh, no, no, it's my cat. I just want you to be able to say goodbye to Pookie before his name was Pookie. And
Okay.
it was
I mean,
like
my
the
cat growing up, her name was Mittens.
weirdest thing ever. But yeah, she kept Pookie on her counter for me for 5 days so I could say
Interesting.
goodbye.
Interesting. Well, I mean, I guess you got to say goodbye, but I don't know if that was, I feel like that was more traumatizing than helpful. Like
Yeah, it was pretty weird.
Morgan, we called her Mittens because she was
Like he was a
a
tuxedo
Maine
kitty.
Coon mix.
Oh, okay.
Um, and she had 7 claws on the
Ooh,
front,
polydactyl.
7 toes on each front paw,
Wow,
and 6 on each back.
that's
And
amazing.
yeah, she was also big. She was a big
Oh
ass
yeah,
cat.
Maine Coons are
Um,
big.
and she had white mittens on.
Hmm.
All 4 of her paws had white mittens on them, so we called her Mittens. She was a jerk. She and I did not get along growing up, and I'm also allergic to cats, and she kind of knew it. And so her and I did not get along. I never tried to kill a cat. I'm not a psychopath and a murderer, but I did test the theory if they can land on their feet from high-ish fall.
Oh.
Um, because this cat used to leave her dingleberries on my pillow at night. She would like rub her
Ooh,
butt on my pillow,
nice.
and it was gross. Me and this cat did not get along.
Did
But
not
anyway,
like you at all. No.
did not like me. I mean, we had an equal hate relationship with each other. Um, One of the reasons I don't have a cat, other than the fact that I'm highly allergic to them, and my dogs don't hate me. In fact, my dogs love me, um, and they're the best. And they don't walk on my keyboard during the middle of shows and try and cancel me out and write weird things. They just sit on the ground and I use them as sounding boards. Um, I actually talk with my dogs and I sing to them and then I let them talk to each other and I have voices for each one of my dogs.
Mhm.
And it's not because I'm crazy. It's actually a sanity technique that my therapist said was cool.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
was to because it it actually dehumanizes your own thought so that you can listen from a third person so that you don't judge
Cool.
yourself for the thought. Because if my dog has a shitty idea, like my dog Bruce, let's say his full name is Dr. Bruce Bartner. Um, he is named after Dr. Bruce Banner. Um, but sometimes I'll call him just Mr. Bartner. And I'll make him say stupid things. And that way, if it's a stupid idea, it's Bruce is saying something dumb, not Nick is saying something dumb. And so we can have conversations back and forth between the dogs where they fight out the stupid idea and I don't have to worry about it being personal to me. I can be like, yeah, that was a stupid idea. Um, or a stupid thought. So if anybody has pets and wants to try it, it's not crazy to talk to your animals.
Oh, I talk to my animals all the time. I don't give them my thoughts. I kind of try to figure out their own thoughts. Um, like Ursula, she is a Great Pyrenees mix, and Pyrenees are bred to be alone with a flock, no
Hmm.
adults watching them. And so they're a lot like cats because they pretty much will take whatever you tell them to do and go, I don't know. I don't
No, I don't know if I want to do that.
And it's like, but you, I just told you. No. In fact, the other night she has her full name, and her full name is Ursula May Puppy Feathers McJohnson. And I will actually she was laying down last night and I called her in and she ignored me. And so I went and looked at her to make sure she knew I could see her. And I called her again and she looked over at me and ignored me. And finally I said, Ursula May, Puppy Feathers McJohnson, get over here. And he saw this. And then she gets up and walks back to
Yep.
the house.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, darn it, you're going to use all my names.
We made sure that each of our dogs had a middle name for a reason so that they knew when they needed to go faster towards us. Like when Bruce hears Dr. Bruce Barkner, he knows to get his butt over here.
He's in
When,
trouble now.
yeah, when Kilo, I have another dog. His name is Kilo. He was very white when we got him. He is a blue heeler, but he is a very white blue heeler. He's like, he has predominant white over the blue fur. Um,
Okay.
and so he looked like a kilo of cocaine. And so
Mm.
my wife named him Kilo. But his name is Kilo CeeLo, because at the time CeeLo Green was a big deal, and um, Happy song had just come
Hmm.
out from
Right.
all the Minions and stuff, or whatever that movie was. Um, and so I was actually deployed at the time when my wife
Oh,
got him.
wow.
The one thing I asked was, please don't get a dog while I'm deployed. And the first thing she went and did was got a dog, um, which is fine because the dog came from um, her grandfather. So it's a family pet. It's basically a family pet. It was a litter an accidental litter. And so his name is Kilo Silo. And if he hears that, he perks up. Um, the other one doesn't give a shit. Mochi doesn't care. He's as lazy as they go. Um, and he'll look at you and just do that. "Oh, you said words at me? Nah, I'm dead." He's a golden healer, or he's a golden retriever treeing Walker Coonhound mix, like two purebreds went and made an accident. And he's the most beautiful dog who just wants attention. And then he'll look at you and go, "Nah, what you got to say? It doesn't matter to me."
Yeah. They can do that.
Yeah.
And I think
Well,
cats are bad, but dogs are just as bad.
Kilo, Kilo, enough, man. You don't have to be loud. Okay. Well, I'm gonna show y'all Kilo before we go, because why not? Kilo,
No, exactly.
come here, buddy. This is Kilo.
Hi, Kilo.
Kilo, look up.
Mm,
That is Kilo.
that's Ursa. She's
Oh,
she's
she's beautiful.
she's taking a nap. She's only 85 pounds.
Yes. Little LT. Mochi, like the Japanese ice cream.
Yeah.
Um, he is beautiful and looks like a little lion and is golden and pretty. And our dogs are gay with each other. Um, we like to remind everybody that because they are, and Kilo came in and is now the third wheel and doesn't know what to do. Um, and Mochi and Bruce love each other, and that's the best part.
Oh, yeah.
So
It's great when they're all a happy little pack together.
it is. It is.
It is.
And it makes the house easier because they protect all of us.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
so,
Though Ursula
well, we've
doesn't know who she's
given,
protecting me from.
yeah, mine don't either at the time. Bruce just barks at the door for some reason. Um, yeah, and homosexuality is
Yep.
documented in every single species in the animal kingdom. To think that it would be uniquely not in the human species is that Christian mindset that we aren't animals, that
Yeah.
God created us uniquely separate from the animal kingdom. That is where they
Mhm.
get this nonsense from. We are animals too. It's the whole thing where we didn't evolve. We just showed up the way we are. No, we fucking evolved the way
If
we did.
you ask Christians, they don't believe there are homosexual animals either because they're
No,
idiots.
no,
They
they
do
don't.
not believe in science. The really crazy
Yeah.
ones don't
They
believe in
don't
science.
watch the documentaries that
Mm-mm.
show animals with homosexuality. They don't
Nope.
watch those. They don't learn about those because
That's
it goes
all
against
just
their belief.
indoctrination.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
They're
It's
the
all
indoctrinated.
indoctrination.
Yeah.
Yep. Every every accusation is a confession with these folks.
Yeah. Pretty
Um,
much. Yeah,
but
that's about the best way to call it.
we've given y'all an extra half an hour.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's all
and
been
this
fun
was a lot of
stuff.
fun. Yeah, this was
Yeah.
fun. Um, so let's leave on a happy note like this. Lisa, I'll see you on Thursday.
Yep. See you
Everyone
Thursday.
else, have a great night.
Yep.
Tomorrow, before we go, tomorrow is the Epstein blockade. Tomorrow, the victims are
Yes.
speaking out in the Epstein saga. At least 10 victims are set to speak in DC tomorrow.
Let's
I
believe
am
the
working
women.
to try and live stream
Oh, cool.
as much of it as I can, if not the whole thing, and working with others to live stream it. So I will
Great.
be trying to get as much out as I can. I will see everyone tomorrow during that. I'm going to hopefully be on both Sick of This Shit with Nick and Banner and Backbone at the same time. I'm going to see if I can do that through Restream.
Great.
Um, and yep, Dean and Zev are doing their live stream. I was invited to participate in the live stream. I'm
Great.
hoping I am able to participate for the whole event and be able to restream the whole event as well. And maybe be in on some of the conversations. I'd love to get to meet like Zev or Lev
Hmm.
himself or Congressman Ro Khanna. Um,
Yeah.
like, I'd love to be able to speak with them. But if I get the chance to hang out with Dean and Zev tomorrow and Ellie Leonard, who's also going to be there,
Oh,
it's
it's
going to be
amazing.
incredible.
Yeah.
Ellie's incredible. She and I become fast friends and do a
Good.
lot together now. Um, we'll have to have her on one of these shows because she is also a Christian deconstructionist
Great.
from one of the cults in Seattle area.
Okay. Great. Oh, I have
Um,
someone else to talk to us about that too. So,
Perfect. We have a lot of folks
yes, we do. There are
who
a lot of
we need to
deconstructed
talk.
Christians
Yeah.
around.
The best part is I'm not. I love the fact that I'm not, um, because I don't have that trauma. I'm sorry, all of you do, but I love that I'm not, and I get to talk to you because
Yeah.
cults and like this type of like mentality and the hurt they do is something I've always been fascinated in learning about and being a part of, like talking about.
Yeah.
So I guess I just made my own show to be able to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm
Well,
glad I
actually,
met you.
I invited you onto my show if I
You
remember
did. You
correctly.
did. Actually, you made this show. You were like, hey, I want you to come hang out. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be about 10 a.m. Eastern time.
Yeah.
Look out for updates in the morning around when it's going to be. But yeah, 10 a.m. Eastern time. 10:30 is when they're supposed to be starting the conference, the news conference itself and speaking. However long it goes, plus longer and talks afterwards, I'll be there.
Great.
So come hang out with us. Lisa, it's been a pleasure.
It's
I
been
love
fun.
hanging out
Thank
with you.
you.
We'll
Okay.
talk to
See you
you. I'll talk to
Thursday.
you again on Thursday.
Yep.
See y'all later.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye now, y'all.